Hi, my name is Kate Hudson Hall. I am an author, therapist, and podcaster. My new book has been released called Anxiety Hacks, with proven techniques, tools, and tips to calmness. So if you suffer from generalized anxiety, panic attacks, or feel abnormally anxious about certain things, within Anxiety Hacks, I show you how you can overcome these conditions successfully, enjoy a healthy and carefree life. My website is katehudson-hall.com. Anxiety Hacks is available now on Amazon.
It used to be hard for this family to run and play in their yard. That big pooch left its business all over. Dad would spend his time cleaning up puppy messes. Now, I make sure the yard is clean so they can play without worry. Yes, there really is a poop fairy.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim and Larry E. on another Wednesday on Tim's Tidbits. Good evening, Larry.
Hey, what's up, Tim? You good?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Hey, what do we got? About 2-3 weeks till Christmas, and then we'll be broke.
Start getting crazy.
Then we'll be broke again. But all right now, yeah, we're okay.
I'm clearance rack shopping. You can get the clearance rack gifts.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, there are a couple super deals out there if you know where to shop and you know what to do. Yeah, I've already picked
Plus, it's the thought that counts. It's not always the present. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I try to sit there when I get stuff like for family, stuff like that, something that's kind of unisex, uni-age, that, everybody's going to want to, get involved with. Could be, like video game, that kind of stuff.
Like socks. Give everybody some socks.
Yeah, get everybody some Christmas socks. Exactly. Come on, man.
With socks.
Anyhow, so things down in Texas aren't too bad, huh?
Weather's not bad, so we haven't had any kind of crazy things happen with the politicians, I don't think. But,
Yeah,
pretty sure you're going to put...
Yeah. Quit lying about Texas.
I'm lying.
You lying on Texas when you say, oh, everything's cool, especially with the politics.
I'm going to protect my state.
That's not what I hear. You know what? What? I have a question. And when it comes down to, abortion rights, actually, in Texas. And apparently, it doesn't matter even if it could kill a woman. They don't seem to care. Especially, what is that? What is your head guy down there, Paxton?
Oh, Paxton.
Check this out.
Tonight, a major legal battle over abortion rights unfolding in Texas, with the state Supreme Court stepping in to temporarily block a pregnant woman from obtaining an emergency abortion she's seeking after learning her fetus is non-viable.
I am extremely disappointed, but not really surprised.
Molly Duane is the attorney representing 31-year-old Kate Cox, the pregnant mother of two, suing the state, claiming she's being denied care because of Texas's 6-week abortion ban. Cox, who is 20 weeks pregnant, recently told NBC News that doctors said proceeding with her pregnancy could pose significant risk to her own health and her ability to have more children in the future.
I was, shocked when I found out I would not be able to get the medical care that I need, here in my home state.
On Thursday, a Texas judge ruled that Cox could terminate her pregnancy. But overnight, the state Supreme Court temporarily halted that ruling in response to an appeal from State Attorney General Ken Paxton. This legal battle now becoming one of the most high-profile abortion cases yet since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in last year's Dobbs.
There you go. Ken Paxton, your AG. Decides, it doesn't matter about a woman's health. Texas is never going to change, Larry.
I don't get it, man. I'm like, that should be on an individual basis. It should be her right and privilege. I'm like, it's going to be on her for the rest of her life, not on the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say the baby is born. Say okay, let's put it like this: one of you don't want to have a baby, and then the baby is born, and then like the people that said you can't have an abortion say hey, you just take the baby and say here, since you say I can't have an abortion, you can have a baby. I don't want the baby, but then why you worried about me having an abortion? Then you gonna raise this baby that I want to abort?
But even to the extreme side of that entire conversation, Larry, is that was a non-viable fetus, which means it wasn't going to live anyhow. But from the standpoint of the law where Paxton's coming from, it doesn't matter. It's a living life, and according to Texas, law, nope, you can't do it. And anybody involved with you, the doctors, anybody that takes you out of state, you know how it is. That's how the law is written in Texas. So everybody's culpable of, in some way, if a woman gets an abortion in Texas.
So then the doctors don't lose their licenses, nothing like
All
that.
kinds of repercussions could occur, over saving someone's life.
So they're basically saying she has to go full term and deliver babies that are not going to be alive just because someone in Texas says it's not right to have an abortion. It is not their body and it's not their kid.
Right, because it goes against their morals, which
their morals, not your morals,
from
their morals.
A secular perspective.
Not your morals. It goes against their morals.
Yeah. Again,
that's ridiculous.
From their,
yeah.
I mean, they put it on the ballot in Ohio, along with, the marijuana, but it passed in Ohio that, a woman can get an abortion should she choose to need to. Why not? As you said, you're the one that's going to have to live with the repercussions of all that.
Yeah. So then I guess you get to fly out of state and get it, or that's how it's going to be?
Isn't that sad? But anyhow, it was kind of interesting. I was listening to one of these programs. It's kind of like a left-wingy type of thing. And, they were saying, well, who's really promoting it is these satanic cults who that's part of the rituals is abortion.
Abortions?
Like, what? I'm like, where did, the stuff they try to tag along with it, so that, somebody's like shock value. My God, that's just horrific. And they're going to sway a voter one way and or the other. Then
it's the woman's, whoever's involved physically, even if it's a significant other, they should have the right to terminate a pregnancy, especially if it's a rape or a child or something like that, where for a fact that kid is not going to have an equal chance. Then it should be done, especially if the fetus is not even alive or could possibly die.
I agree 100%. And that's they're trying to put that on the ballot. It's not yet on the ballot in Arizona, abortion. And then a lot of the opposition to that is, besides their beliefs, is that it's going to bring out a lot of left wingers, and then possibly they could swing that red state towards a Democrat, heaven forbid.
Oh my God! People are so.
It's a lot of that stuff is so politically, left and right. It's crazy. We'll get into some of that, but
I think it's goofy as hell because it's none of your concern. I'm like, it's up to that person who's having an abortion.
Right. There we are. And hey, and pretty soon here, what do we got? The Iowa caucus is coming up. Real quick, so they're going to be deciding who's going to be the Republican nominee. And the other night, they had one of their could probably be the last debate. I think they got one more debate before all this happens. But in any event, the other night they had a debate. You got to check this out. The only person I thought that did half-ass decent was Chris Christie, and check it out.
This is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting her.
So I'm going to take, Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. Yeah. After the thing,
they're afraid to offend. And let me tell you something. If you're afraid to offend Donald Trump, then what are you going to do when you sit across from President Xi, you sit across from the Ayatollah, you sit across from Putin?
Bam. Chris Christie.
Yeah, that was him?
Yeah, that was Christie, the New Jersey.
Oh, he came in, he wasn't playing.
No, I mean, he was, and they were slamming the girl all night long, which, I mean, that's part of what they do up there in the debate is, try to, slice and dice each other, and throw mud.
But was
yeah,
he? Were they all
it got to the
Democratic?
point to where he was just he started talking about her daughter and being on TikTok and all kinds of BS, which is non-relative to the debate. But
No,
yeah, so Christie stepped in and said, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And
so all of them are Democrats or Republicans?
those
Or
are
is it a mixture?
Republicans. And going for the nomination, but pretty much Donald has probably got it pretty much, unfortunately, sewn up. But yeah, and I mean, is that really? Is that
I still don't
really?
understand.
Is that I fail to understand that myself. How people can be attracted to that type of behavior, that type of an individual. But hey, again, we could talk about that. I think we talked about that, different fear mongering and how you sway attitudes your way with just people needing or thinking, that they're in some type of jeopardy, some type of peril, and I'm the one that's going to save you, Superman type thing.
Saving nobody, worry about himself. He's always been worried about himself.
Oh yeah, and I want to play an interview that he had just the other night. Check this out, and then this is really going to trip you out, and tell me what you think.
You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Historically speaking, the authoritarian playbook is always the same. Their ultimate goal is to consolidate power, and they always use the same time-tested techniques. First, they start by attacking the free press. This is just a way to weaken the media's ability to hold the ruler accountable. You can see this dynamic at play when Trump calls any negative coverage of his administration fake news and threatens to take away the media's credentials. Next, they will usually try to blame the country's problems on minorities or use other vulnerable populations as scapegoats. This gives the ruler a way to validate people's concerns while redirecting their anger towards a specific ethnic group. If people start protesting or revolting, they will blame the dissent on foreigners or paid protesters. This usually gives the ruler justification to use force against civilians or to strengthen internal police forces. Next, they'll try to weaken judicial checks on power. They usually do this by publicly discrediting judges or the judicial system, defunding departments that investigate internal criminal activity, and working to remove people from powerful positions that are not loyal to the regime or its ruler, which leads us to the value of loyalty. Authoritarians will always reward loyalty over competence because they fear a system that holds them to the same ethical and legal standard as everyone else. This is why you usually start to see very unqualified people running departments that they shouldn't be running. Under an authoritarian system, their loyalty is more valuable than their knowledge or skill. A lot of these dynamics are already happening in the United States. If we're not careful, the US can slip into a modern version of authoritarianism, where elections can and do happen, but they have no power to yield any type of social or political change. The good news is that humanity has had plenty of practice defeating authoritarian leaders. The one thing that works surprisingly well is nonviolent resistance. In fact, studies show that between 1900 and 2006, campaigns of nonviolent civil resistance were twice as successful as violent campaigns in defeating authoritarian leaders around the world. Nonviolent resistance movements are especially effective because they make it harder for the regime to justify using violence on its own people. The same studies also show that no government can withstand the challenge of 3.5% of its population. So what can you do? Authoritarians thrive on popular fear and collective resignation. The most powerful thing you can do is simply participate in resistance campaigns that are peaceful and nonviolent. Following movements like Indivisible or participating in campaigns by the ACLU are good places to start. Democracy is more fragile than we think. Let's put into action this time-tested way to defeat authoritarianism before it's too late. Peace.
Okay. Now, does any of that surprise you, Larry?
No, and I noticed that when I was studying the civil rights movement and all that with Dr. Martin Luther King, they did a lot of peaceful riots. Not riots, I'm sorry, not riots,
Marches.
but peaceful marches, and they were very, very effective. But one thing he did say is the word peaceful. Now, I've noticed too sometimes from my studies that people were hired to make sure that the peaceful march became violent. And if we do have some of those, I'm thinking that
antagonizers.
antagonizers, I'm thinking that his administration or whoever it is, they're going to make it where it's going to turn violent. And I think that's what's going to happen moving forward because of our society and how they're trying to make sure that we keep that authoritarian, how you pronounce it?
Authoritarian
leadership method moving forward. So they're going to disrupt those type things because voting don't even matter no more. I don't say don't vote, but I'm saying your vote matters. But they have ways to
circumvent that. Oh, look what they tried to do. They tried to have fake electors come up there and negate the actual real vote down in Georgia and some other places.
Mm-hmm. So you really have to just use the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and really stand up. And that 3% he said of Americans that can stand up and do something about it, they have to stand up. And we have more of us than them.
Do you find it interesting? Do you find it interesting that they're scared of voters, like I had talked about previously, is bringing out the vote in, a state like Arizona? Now I'm scared of that vote. Well, why? Because they don't like that authoritarian regime that you're trying to create within the, government, under the leadership of Donald? No.
Well, and the thing about it, man, that guy had his swing at it. Just move on. I'm afraid now that listen, President Barack Obama did a great job. Even the ones before him did great jobs as a politician, what they did what they're supposed to do. Now, we had Trump, and it was a disaster. I don't care what they say. We made more money this. The whole thing as a president, he was horrible. And then we have Biden right now, and it's a disaster because he's so old and he's disconnected to what he's supposed to be doing. So now I'm afraid of what's moving forward.
And what's your choice?
But and part of me is afraid. Another part is saying, you know what, man, just give us somebody, get him a swing at it. But look at the candidates. Look how messy it's gotten. Look at all these people just mudslinging and so racist. And I'm kind of afraid, but I'm like, we need to get somebody to try somebody else.
We'll see what they can bring up for us. It'd be great if they could bring somebody up that it was actually credible, could lead the nation, and was young enough that, you could draw, from the baby boomers, to the millennials out to vote. And hey.
Because our politicians, they all are horrible. It's like a cartoon, man. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is a cartoon. What do you mean? It's kind of like a cartoon.
Local and state.
Oh, Mitt Romney. It was funny. Mitt Romney was talking about Trump. He says, Donald is like a gumball machine. He goes, you put your penny on. He goes, you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah. It's embarrassing, man. And you would think it'd be worse in like the federal, or do you think the federal have their stuff together, then the states will have jacked up governments? Federal government is just as bad as local governments. It's all bad across the board.
And I understand that, the states have the right to self-govern, i.e. with what's going on down in Texas. But we'll see. People need to speak. If, your attitude is, I think, some of my freedoms are being taken away, well, get out there and freaking vote. Anyhow, moving on. Up here in Toledo, Ohio, I'm not going to completely dog out Texas.
What we got?
It seems that sometimes anything can offend somebody, and then you got to make, appropriations so that you don't offend maybe that one person, I guess. I don't know. Check it out.
Well, Stephanie, it was a packed room at the Toledo City Council meeting tonight where everybody in the room was there to advocate for the city keeping the nativity scene at the fire station. A long-standing Christmas decoration for the city of Toledo is now gone after a complaint was filed citing the separation between church and state.
And we addressed this situation specifically because it is a standalone nativity scene on public property, pretty prominently displayed in front of a city building.
However, community members are not happy and made it clear that they will fight this.
Right. We are free to do what we want to do. We are free to stand for our foundation, our godly foundation.
City council members sharing they are on the same page.
I don't like people burning flags. I don't like people burning Bibles. And I don't like people telling us we can't have a nativity scene in our fire station.
The nativity scene was built by a community member and stood outside the fire department until this complaint. Now it's been moved to private property, breaking the tradition.
I'm just afraid that if we cave in to this, that my nativity at my house will be next, or at the church that I put up, will be next.
While the city acknowledged the concerns, they want to remain respectful to all.
I believe in the separation of church and state. However, I also believe in the freedom of religion and from religion.
The mayor said he wants to do what he can to get the nativity scene back to the fire department. However, he will comply with the law and talk with the city attorney, and they plan to revisit this at their next meeting.
Isn't that taking things like a little bit to the extreme?
They ain't bringing it back. He cut the one white guy scared me. He's like, I don't like this, I don't like that. I was like, please don't say you don't like black people.
Oh, I don't like the burning of the flag or the burning of Bibles or the burning of books.
Say, please don't say you don't like brothers and sisters.
But yeah, come on, man.
They ain't coming back.
Apparently, the woman that filed this complaint is not even from the city of Toledo nor the county of Lucas, where Toledo sits. She's from another place.
So she did a drive-by complaint. I don't like that shit.
I don't like that outside the fire station at Nativity. And I guess, should there be a separation between church and state and vice versa? Yeah. Why?
So they basically,
otherwise you're going to get yourself into a secular government, and then everything's going to be, in accordance to the Bible, or you're going to, right? So, come on now. They're
saying because it's on the fire department property, which is
they're promoting religion, and it's like, come on.
And the crazy part about it is, what if you have to? They put on her property because you never own that property because you pay property taxes on it. You never own it. So would it still be considered that they stuck on her property? Because it's not your property, really, if you think about it.
Take it down to the complainer's property, wherever she might be located.
Yeah, you pay property taxes your whole life.
Here you go. Now don't take it down because it's on.
Because
then it's on city property. There again you go. There's the debate. Well, city government telling me I got to put up a religious thing, and no.
But you know what? It shows you the difference between someone who has some sense and somebody in the hood. Because the black dudes and messes in the hood do a drive-by shooting. That white lady did a drive-by complaint. And look how big of a mess she's doing.
There we go. Now you've actually brought out a separation between white and black.
Bro, I never heard of a drive-by complaint.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that on television.
It's hilarious.
Like, man, you know what? That's just freaking ridiculous.
It's hilarious. I'm going to complain about this. Let me go back to my own city.
I'm crazy. Speaking of ridiculous, sports superstars, let's call them. Uh-oh is right. Did you hear about Los Angeles decided to sign a pitcher, hitter, whatever, and a combination of, I guess, a superstar, the next Babe Ruth, whatever they want to try to call him, $700 million contract.
Was it an Asian guy?
Yeah. Check it out.
Breaking news from Major League Baseball, where Shohei Ohtani is signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The two-way superstar will get a 10-year deal worth $700 million, far and away the largest contract in the history of North American sports. The 29-year-old is coming off his second career MVP award when he led the American League in home runs, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. He also went 10-5 with a 3.14 ERA across 23 starts. Everybody's been keeping it quiet. Nobody's been able to talk about whether they've met with Shohei or not, although the Dodgers kind of did. But Shohei made the announcement official on Instagram, posting that he is going to LA. And to all Dodgers fans, hey, I pledge to always do what's best for the team and always continue to give it my all to be the best version of myself. It's a long message. You can check it out on Instagram.
All right, let's justify how that Shohei guy is worth $700 million for 10 years.
So you're going to pay a grown man $700 million to play with balls for a living? Really?
here comes the math for a $700 million 10-year contract. You are making $11.7 million per month.
But
you are making $432,000 per game.
Is it guaranteed money? Because you know all that money.
I'd like to see the contract because that's just ridiculous. That is.
But think about this. Think about the trade clause. They can't even trade this guy. Who's going to pick this guy up, take his contract, or if he get cut or released? Who's going to pick up that money?
I'm not a huge baseball fan, so I don't know who Shohei necessarily is. I haven't seen him play or such, and think that guy is worth every dime of that.
No. Don't get me wrong. He can hit and he can pitch, which is rare. Now I've seen guys that can hit and they were fast, or guys that were fast and they can hit a little bit. But never have we ever seen anybody that can hit the ball and pitch the ball just as well as they can hit.
So them comparing him to Ruth is not that outlandish.
And then he's Asian, so that's another kicker.
I just think about I get tired of it to the point that, it's nice to be able to bring a pennant or a championship trophy or what have you to your particular municipality. Okay. That goes from high school sports all the way up to the pros, right? But, a lot of stuff, it all comes with a price.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the price of recruiting that type of talent in the major league sports has gotten so astronomical that the average Joe can't afford to go to a game and even watch it. You got to watch it on TV. Forget about going to the game.
The people who are going to watch him play got to pay for it. But when I say he's Asian, I say he's Asian by that's an anonymity. Say the word. I can't ever get it out.
What do you mean?
It's like you've never seen nothing like that before.
Oh, an anomaly.
Anomaly.
Anomaly. Something unique. Yeah.
Exactly. And I watch track and field and everything, the gymnastics and everything. But when it comes to something like baseball, it's usually dominated by how can I say it? The Caribbean people, white guys, some black guys.
Yeah, you're right. You're Cubans and
Cubans, exactly. But you've never seen anybody that good. And I'm actually just not surprised, but it's hard to how can I say it? I'm just shocked that this guy's such a great athlete. Because I've never seen anybody that well that can hit and pitch better than anybody possibly in history. And does he deserve all that money? I don't think so. Not to play for balls for a living, but I'm impressed. As I was trying to say, it's hard to impress him. I'm very impressed. This guy's good.
Well, let me say that, there's probably our viewers don't know that, I would have been a major league pitcher if it wasn't for my lack of talent.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. But I'll take $432,000.
I can say this. Every time I played baseball and every time I got up to the plate, I always got on base every single time. Every single time.
Is that what happened? You kept stepping in front of pitches?
I got hit every time I got up there. Never struck out. I'm dead serious, Tim. Every game I played, I was always on base because I always got hit.
Was you a plate hugger?
No, I just got hit every time.
Really?
So I'm like,
maybe people just didn't like you, Larry. I start taking that personal.
That's hilarious, but the guy is good, man. I've never to pitch and hit, but he doesn't deserve all that money.
All I can say is, Shohei, I hope you're worth your change.
He has a great agent, I'll tell you that.
Damn, straight.
Thank God Asian people got somebody that they can look up to now because, he's a great athlete.
Anyhow, let's move on and let's start saving people money instead of trying to tell them how they could spend it going to watch a Los Angeles baseball game. Hey, as we know, it's holiday season. There's going to be scammers out there, and we got all kinds of scammers. And the latest one that I came across is a gift card scam at those counters at the checkout.
What you're looking at is more than 5,000 gift cards one man is accused of using to scam shoppers. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says the potential loss ranges up to nearly $3 million. The arrest happened during Operation Bad Elf. During one of their operations last week, investigators noticed a man acting suspicious at a gift card rack. Through their investigation, authorities say the suspect was taking cards off of the rack and then replacing them with new cards. Officers then contacted the man outside, finding more than 200 cards on him and more than 5,000 cards inside of his car.
If it hadn't been for Operation Bad Elf and we hadn't been at that location, that specific target would have been another victim of this.
Here's what we know about the suspect. He's an adult Asian male, a Chinese nationalist, and has lived in several locations in California and neighboring states. And investigators say there could be thousands of fraudulent gift cards still on the racks in Targets spanning from LA, the Bay Area, and Sacramento.
Put these things behind the shelf. They need to control access to them, or they need to completely take them off the shelf.
So how does it work? Scammers take the gift card's barcode, replace it with another, seal it back up, and put it back on the shelf.
The consumer goes to check out, the cashier is loading the consumer's funds to that barcode, but it's not to the physical card that the consumer is holding, it's to the card that the scammer owns.
Gift cards are fairly inexpensive. Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says the real victims are consumers, not the retailer.
We would have, 5,000 victims that we are trying to connect up to this. Target isn't out anything.
Yeah.
I was just giving Asian people props for their heroes.
And look what happened in that. That's what I was laughing about.
Asian dudes scamming people.
He got jealous of Shari's contract with the Los Angeles, and he said, he ain't got to be the only rich Asian that's making out this much.
Hey, did you do the math on that? Think about how much you charge. Usually when you charge, what's the minimum amount that you would charge on a card? Minimum. I said average.
Couple $100.
So you multiply that times 5,000. That's what they know about. We do the math, man.
Yep. And I think they had some problems with that before, to where people would, somehow utilize the gift card.
That's $100,000. That's $100,000 right there. Just with just 5,000. Those are the ones they caught.
But otherwise, say when you're out there, be wary, man. I'd stay the hell away from gift cards.
Okay, but
you want to give them some money? Why don't you just put $50-$100 in an envelope and say Merry Christmas, and then they don't have to go through the hassle of trying to go to wherever that gift card's from.
Okay, right. And then moving forward, Tim, I'm never gonna give any. While we have this show, I'm never gonna give any black people, Asian people, white people props, any cultures or any ethnicity props, because you backdoored me
until after the show's over. After we're done, then I'll give props. Well, we didn't offend anybody this time, so.
Oh yeah, he's a hero to the Asians. Ah, hell, he's a scammer to the Asians.
See how it goes. It's non-discriminatory. We have scammers everywhere. Wait, and let me give you one more scam. This is even better yet. And we see these everywhere. These are these damn QR codes. You know what a QR code is. You see them everywhere.
Well, Madison, I spoke with an IT expert who gave us an example of some of the types of QR codes to avoid. One right here in the downtown Commons in Al Yousefi Square. It just says, "Scan me," completely nondescript. The user has no idea where exactly that link might take them if they scan it. But as I learned today, it's not always that obvious. Seeking no-touch alternatives amid the global health crisis, quick response or QR codes like these began popping up at businesses all over.
At restaurants, that's where I've seen them a lot.
I use that in my childcare for sign in and sign out.
A simple scan and tap could take you straight to a restaurant menu, show you movie times, or even let you pay a bill. Visiting Sacramento from the UK, Mark Wareham even has a QR code on his business card.
It links to my website on Facebook.
Now criminals are capitalizing on that convenience, warns the FBI, the Bureau calling attention to a rise in malicious QR codes nationwide. Sacramento IT security expert Caleb Kwong with Savant Solutions.
People are just used to scanning things in general, just curious, right? Human nature.
He says thieves are targeting personal data, trying to plant malware on your device or even get you to pay them.
I would just say just be cautious of what you're clicking on these days. You don't know where the website's going to take you.
So think twice before you scan, and once you do, double check that URL to make sure you've reached the right website. You can also check the physical code before scanning for signs of tampering, like a sticker over a sticker, and be cautious anytime you enter private or financial data online. Miguel Beltran will be.
Naturally, you put your guard down, in situations like that.
Probably think twice about before scanning a QR code.
Yeah.
Now, our IT expert says one of the most sure ways to prevent yourself from falling victim to something like that would be to simply not scan the QR code at all. You could ask for a physical menu or ask for the URL and put it in yourself.
That's a good point. Isn't that crazy how many different ways they got to hack your shit?
Now, see, you got the Asian theme going on now. The baseball player was a hero, then the other guy, Asian guy, was a scammer. Then you got the other Asian guy that's catching the scammers, trying to help us prevent from getting. Okay, but it is crazy though.
Yeah, I tried to balance it out as much as possible. Yeah. We are an equal opportunity employer here on the Tid-Bits show.
Everybody get to smoke or don't get to smoke. Somebody getting something. But that's the world we live in now, man. Look at our politicians; they're all scammers. But why can't everybody else get into it?
Well, I think that there's just so many ways that, people are going to get, their money taken away from them, through these different types of scams, whether it be through fake websites, through URL codes, or through, the QR codes, the quick response codes. Pay attention to where you're going. And especially when they start asking like some real personal information, with credit card number and give me the code on the back and all that. No.
You know what, Tim? Our world is changing now. The hard-working individuals that people looked up to, they're not looked up to anymore. It's about work less and get paid more now. It's not about working smarter. Instead of working harder, it's working smarter now. So it's different now. People trying to find ways to get money. More money for less work.
A lot of it is they want it now. Just like, they're not willing to stay with particular companies in long term because they want this particular position, this amount of money now. This is the society that we happen to live in, the young generation. They want instantaneous everything. They were brought up with instantaneous everything, so why not? We did it to ourselves, right?
We just threw the young people under the bus. A lot of them, not all of them. Some of them still work hard. Like 2 or 3 of them.
I didn't throw them under the bus. I just said as a whole what we've done. 2 or 3 young people work hard out of the billions. So out of the billions, that's just horrible.
2 or 3 of them, man. The rest of them,
man, unbelievable. Hey, well, you know what we have talked about today, and what I found was kind of funny is I was watching a couple of commercials on TV, and they were, when they start talking about the different ideals about I'm anti-marijuana, I'm anti-abortion, blah blah blah, and then they show the Statue of Liberty behind them, and they got the flag waving, and the farm out, the guy out in the field cultivating his crop, the wahoo all-American, put my hand over my heart type, objective by, and I'm like, why do they employ that type of, advertising, to sit and get the sympathizers, onto their cause by, here's what we're really all about. But are you really? Are you really? So, and we talked a little bit about that. What is the difference, between, being a patriot and, watch this video. Let me come back to this. Yeah. And tell me what you think.
Donald Trump and his enablers often equate nationalism with patriotism. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Trump's nationalism is rooted in fear of outsiders and the belief that Americans, especially white Americans of European heritage, are inherently superior to others. Patriotism, by contrast, isn't about exclusion. It's about inclusion. It involves taking on a fair share of the burdens of keeping America going. Nationalism blasts immigrants as criminals, demands a border wall even when immigration is down, and scapegoats foreigners for our economic woes while ignoring real investments in the American people. This sort of we're better than anyone else nationalism, tinged with racism, typically emerges when demagogues build their base of power by fueling fears of others outside the nation's borders. Throughout history, demagogues have used anger to target scapegoats, thereby dividing and conquering, and distracting people from the real sources of their frustrations. As George Orwell dryly observed, although endlessly brooding on power, victory, defeat, and revenge, the nationalist is uninterested in what happens in the real world. Patriotism, on the other hand, is rooted in our common ideals. These ideals led Lincoln to proclaim that America might yet be the last best hope for humankind. These same ideals prompted Emma Lazarus, some 2 decades later, to welcome the world's tired, poor, huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Americans are not a race. We're not a creed. We're a conviction that all people are created equal, that people should be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin, and that government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people. If we're losing our national identity, it's not because we're becoming browner or speaking more languages than we once did. It's because we are losing our sense of true patriotism. True patriots don't fuel racist or religious or ethnic divisions. They aren't homophobic, transphobic, or sexist. They don't hate others outside our borders. To the contrary, true patriots confirm the good that we have in common. They seek to strengthen and celebrate the we in We the People.
Yeah. What do you think? Patriots or nationalists? You know, hey.
I need more friends like him.
There's a huge difference.
I need more friends. That guy's very sharp. The way he said it, he explained it. And if a goofy person can figure that out and understand what he's saying, it makes a lot of sense. And it's real and it's the truth. It's the truth.
Well, you know, yeah, 100%. It's the truth, man.
Really can't add nothing to it. He just actually broke it down in layman's terms and he gave you the knowledge. You ain't got to read it. He's giving to you right there. Gave it to you. It's game.
You know what? And you're gonna have left and right opinions, and that's just it's been like that since the start of our country. And you know when Britain was ruling over us and they decided to impose taxes that everybody was a little bit miffed off about, right? Mm-hmm. And we went into a revolutionary war. I told you something. I'll share this with our viewers. This is actually, and I told you this before. My grandfather and a whole bunch of his kids actually served in it, and they made Ripley's, believe it or not. Timothy, he's my like sixth great grandfather, and he was 70 when he fought in it, and he had his 9 sons, and he had his 2 son-in-laws fighting with him during the Revolutionary War. And and the same thing happens during there. Is you had your patriots, and you had what they called Tories. Tories were kind of like the sympathizers to the British, thinking like everything's kind of fine the way it is. I'm making a ton of cash, so why should things change? That sound kind of familiar? Anyhow, mm-hmm. Hey, people, as that guy said, this is a country for the people, by the people, and if you want to live in an autocratic society, where somebody's dictating to you, I don't know what to say, brother. I don't know what to say.
I always say like this: all racist people and people in general that think the way that certain individuals think that are negative, they should be put on the island and let them fight that out with each other and let all the regular people live in harmony. That's what they should. Now, I ain't gonna say it should be like doing a thing like Hitler did. They should say, "Here, this is yours. You can be racist, whatever you want to be, all over here. Have at it."
Sometimes I think it's they've silenced the majority. you know, you're the silent minority, but it's almost like when you listen to what they're worried about as far as, you know, stimulating people to come out and vote, they're more worried about, you know, silencing the majority.
Yeah.
And if not, what we'll do is we'll just get fake electors to silence you. One way or the other, we're going to silence you.
Somebody getting scammed.
You think? Hey, man, let's get on to your favorite part. And actually, it is our Asshole of the Week award. And this is fantastic because this guy truly deserves it. I'm not even going to introduce it. Just check it out.
A brand new Metro police officer who had just graduated from the police academy this past Friday was fired before his first day on the job. Louisville Metro Police say they were called to a non-injury crash on Saturday on Frankfort Avenue at McCready, and they discovered that LMPD officer Luis Rodriguez had hit several parked cars. He was still in the driver's seat of his car when officers got there. Rodriguez was arrested and charged with DOI, according to Metro Police. He had just graduated from the academy on Friday. His first shift was scheduled for Sunday. LMPD said Chief Jacqueline Gwen Villarreal immediately fired Rodriguez upon learning about the officer's arrest.
That's messed up, bro.
Hang on.
No. He was celebrating graduating from the academy. It could have been his lifelong dream.
Yep.
Just celebrating, man. They should have fired him. Like,
What are they going to do? Let him off on a DUI charge? And then come on, man.
He pulled somebody else over there, bro. When you the one to hit those cars and let you make it.
Aren't you the cop they let off that was drunk, you know, celebrating your graduation from cop school?
I mean, he got to let everybody else go do the same thing he did. Yeah, man.
You're right, man.
Okay, I'm drunk too, so can I go? Yeah, go.
Yeah, go on, man.
Well, he had to be sick as hell. Now he's back at pulling security.
How you
at
gotta go
Walmart
home and
now.
tell the wifey?
Now he's back pulling security at some kind of rinky-dink secondhand grocery store.
Dollar General and stuff.
with a wrinkled ass uniform on. With the dreams of being almost a police officer.
Little tactical belt with nothing in it.
They
just make him wear the tactical belt. Don't even give him handcuffs and shit. Here you go. Just wear this.
They give him some cheap zip ties from the dollar store instead of the police zip thing. They give him
really
zip ties.
Here, we got some in the back. I don't know what to say, man. Anyhow, hey, check it out. Hang tight just for 1 second. Let's go to this and.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Larry Estelle from LRE Fitness Solutions. We keep you moving. Check me out on IG and Facebook. LRE Fitness Solutions. We keep you moving. I will be uploading new content, possibly starting in January or see how this month goes. But this is my tip. It's gonna be fast, simple, real easy. Get rest. Get you some rest, especially if you have a strenuous fitness program. Your body needs to rest to recover. Your body needs the right rest to recover from anything, but you really got to get your rest in when you're doing exercises. You're doing an exercise program, a training program, because your body will heal itself and it'll grow as you get your rest. Okay, and make sure you take you some proteins and multivitamins and stuff like that. Eat right, but get some rest. Body will love you for it. LRE Fitness Solutions, we keep you moving. IG, Facebook, holler at me.
Holler at you, LRE Fitness. Hey, anyhow, man. Hey, as I said, you need to, everybody just kind of take a step back and think about what you're listening to and who you're listening to. And, a lot of times, Queen, my wife, on the other show, she'll tell you faith over fear. You know, that's important, don't let somebody scare you into making some decision that, our next few generations is going to regret, where we get a autocratic dictator type environment for, the next 4, 8, 10 years. Who knows what can happen? Just be wary that it's possible. It's on the edge. It's on the brink. And, they're using all the techniques that's been used in the past to accomplish such a feat. So wise up. As I said, hey, I've had ancestors that spilled blood for this country just for the purpose of freedom. And that's what it's all about. People, keep your freedom of choice, your freedom to, you know, make your own type of living. Don't get put into an environment where somebody's going to be telling you what to do and how to do it all the time. Give yourself still a little bit of that precious freedom that we so embrace and love. Right, Larry?
Right, man. Protect your rights.
But anyhow, hey, I think we need to wrap it up so we can get on out of here. And I think that Larry's probably got some customers that are just aching for his services. But anyhow,
They want to get these.
They want to watch, those guns work. Anyhow, hey, man, until next week, we are so out of here. Peace, people. Bye.